So I'm gonna take us on a little ride. Gonna do a brief video. We're gonna talk about if this thing is the Sur-Ron killer or not. So here we go. A little bit about this bike. It's 5,000 watts. Got it from Alibaba. I'm currently at 396 miles. Just hit 41 miles an hour real quick right there. Show you a little off-roadage. Talk about if this thing is the Sur-Ron killer really quick. I think that's kind of subjective. Yeah, that's up to you to decide. Personally, I don't own one. I've thought about getting one. I've also thought about getting just a regular e-bike. So what separates this from the Sur-Ron? I'd say the price. I got this for just under $3,000. And I mean, it's 5,000 watts. It's got blinkers, headlights. It's got front adjustable air shocks. And pedals. So I think what separates this bike from a Sur-Ron the fact that this bike has pedals. How's it going? And because it does have pedals, I can ride on these paved trails that we have out here for bikes. The state of California requires your e-bike to have pedals. Otherwise, I guess it's considered a different type of vehicle. I don't think they want you riding it on the streets, but although I hear they're pretty lenient, they really don't mess with people as long as you're safe and not driving too fast. So I think the only reason why I can see people calling this thing the Sur-Ron killer is because of the price difference, the power that it comes with. I mean, right now I've got it stock settings, everything, and the fastest I've hit is 50. So like I said, I'm almost at 400 miles right now. I haven't had any issues with it. I think what separates from the Sur-Ron is the pedals, most of all, the price tag, the power it comes with. You know, Sur-Rons, from what I understand, you have to upgrade them. You have to upgrade the battery. With this battery, first time I ever charged it, I got about 96 miles. I think I have a video on it where I'm charging it for the first time. But I got 96 miles out of it. And that's like, you know, it all depends on what speed you're driving at. So I'd say You know, you can get 80 to 90 miles off a charge. The charge can go anywhere from 4 to 8 hours, just depends on how much you depleted the battery. But I'd say, you know, almost 100 miles on a charge. I mean, that's a score right there in my book. So I myself was deciding whether I wanted to get a Suron, one of these, I guess they're calling them enduro e-bikes. And ultimately, I went with the enduros because, one, it was cheaper, 2, the pedals, 3, the battery, all the accessories. So for me, you know, I wanted to ride my bike in places like this, where if you don't have pedals, you know, people will get on you about it, or even on the streets, you know, people can get on you about it. It's just one less thing to be hassled about in my book. But I think, you know, comparing the Suron and this bike right here is apples and oranges. You know, they're different. I think the Suron is more of a dirt bike. And I think it's closer to being a dirt bike. Whereas I think this is more of a hybrid between a dirt bike, like an e-bike and a bike. You know, it's got the power of an e-dirt bike, but it's got the pedals like a bike. So it's kind of a little hybrid in my book, I would say. So I'd say, you know, it's up to you to decide, really, ultimately, what you think about it. I'm going to turn around up here. This is just going to be a short video. So I'm going to go on another trail, and we're going to do a 400-mile review here pretty soon. But on this one, I just wanted to discuss really quick if this thing is Suron killer or not. I'm not calling it that. People talking about it and saying this could be it. Yeah, because everybody loves a Suron. I mean, I wouldn't mind getting a Suron and also just another regular, little lower powered e-bike. I mean, this thing's juiced up. The only reason why I'd get like another e-bike is just something a little less inconspicuous. So there's a couple that I'm looking at. If you know any good e-bikes out there, let me know. If you own a Suron and you want to let me know the pros and cons of that, because I'm interested in getting one of those as well. I mean, really the only cons I hear about the Suron is the price. You know, the fact you have to do so much upgrading. And just like the lack of pedals can get you pulled over, at least in my state. And, you know, I think they're impounding these things and giving you tickets. And like I said, I'm at $399, so I'm just about to hit 400. And knock on wood, but I've never had any issues with this bike, like none whatsoever, besides like a flat tire. Never been pulled over by the police. I've gone to some pretty busy biking trails out here. And, you know, only a comment here and there from from people walking on the trails that didn't really like what they saw. Like I said, this thing kind of does look a little bit like a dirt bike, but really it's only been a couple comments. I know I'm gonna probably have to replace my brakes here pretty soon, which I'm surprised actually that I've hit 400 miles and haven't had to replace any brake shed or anything like that. But I know it's coming up. Only thing I've had is a flat tire. I got a flat tire maybe the third or fourth time I rode it. So I was getting a little too squirrely. And then, not too long ago, a week ago, I got a flat tire because I ran over a nail. And I do have tire liners, the slime stuff. But, tire liners aren't going to stop a nail. But after I got my first flat tire, just from riding in a open it up a little bit right here so you can see the speed. Hit 40, 42. Gotta slow down. I'm gonna have to find a place where I can really open it up. First time I got a flat tire, I was riding all over the place, crazy high brush. It was basically off-roading, and I got some huge thorns in my tire, which stopped me right in my tracks. So after that, I got the tire liners, and everything was all good ever since then, until I ran over a nail. So if you're going to get one of these bikes, I highly recommend getting tire liners and things like that. So you don't get a flat tire. So I was able to pull thorns out with no problem. Didn't pop a tire. So yeah, I mean, my opinion is that this bike is different than a Sur-Ron. I'm not going to call it the Sur-Ron killer. I'm going to say they're two different bikes. And I would get one of each. Like I said, have one of these, have a Sur-Ron. A regular e-bike. You can see this bike can handle all the different terrains. This stuff is pretty thick. I had it back there in the sand, the dirt, the roads. So, I mean, I do like this e-bike. I would buy it again. I feel like I got my money's worth. I got the speed that I wanted to get. I got the power that I wanted to get. All that. And I didn't have to pay the crazy price tag. So, do I think this thing's a Sur-Ron killer? Like I said, in my mind, I think they're two different bikes. If you want to compare them, you can compare them, but I think it's kind of apples and oranges. you know, chocolate and vanilla, however you want to put it. I just think they're completely different bikes. To me, the Sur-Ron is more of a dirt bike, you know, leaning more towards that, whereas this bike is more of a, I'd say, of a bike, a cross, a hybrid between e-bike and a dirt bike. So I'll let you guys decide. Let me know what you think. If there's any questions you have about it, anything you want to know, my answer on this thing, like I said, I'm going to say they're completely different bikes. When I came down to purchasing this, it was, you know, either buying a Sur-Ron or this. And I mean, funds weren't really a issue. I just didn't want to have to deal with doing the upgrades, all that kind of stuff. I just wanted something I could, you know, ride without having to put all the effort and work into upgrading it. It's just something I did not want to have to do. So I went for this.